Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Media Watch, the home edition. And as per normal, we try and get some really good guests on. They're all good in their own right. But this time, a little bit of difference, a little bit of COVID flavour in the context of something that's really affected people in terms of the morale, etc., and also looking at the business side too. But we thought we'd get a celebrated set of individuals with us, a power couple. It's going to hype you up already. We have Bhavan, and we also have the very famous, I can say that. Your head's going to be so big you're not being able to get out the garage. That's a Run DMC statement, if you know what that means. And we have the wonderful Magic Singh. Good to meet you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh my,
How,
very nice.
how are you both? And yeah, we were talking earlier on. We did have a meetup a few years ago, and you're still going on and doing great things. Still in popular demand, and I'm talking both of you actually on the business side, Bhavan, and also on the magic business. Magic Singh, you're doing really well. So three topics I really wanted to cover off today, right? First of all, now try to keep it straight for magic over lockdown. Trying to keep people happy is the second thing, which is kind of related to the first one. And I guess also the other thing is business. Business has been shut down. And Bhavan, I know you in particular, you've got a concession store and you've done really, really well. So, congratulations and all, best of luck. I know you're going from strength to strength with your henna business. And it's not only just henna, it's also the services and also the products that come with that. So we'll talk about how that's affected you because, you've still done some amazing stuff, even though there's been a lockdown and no one's been able to go to shops and get their henna done. And obviously weddings, oh my word, weddings or even decorative stuff. I saw somebody recently did some stuff on some cancer patients where they were doing some henna patterns on their head, which is quite an interesting idea.
And it's during chemo, obviously they lose their hair, and it's about doing the henna designs on their head, and they just love it. It makes them feel so good, and that's what it's all about, really.
Brilliant. So magic. Have you got any magic for us this time around?
I can't perform in a live situation anymore, which is a real shame because I love performing for people. There's only so much you can do for your family until they're like, oh, not again. But performing, like you said, at weddings, corporate events, award ceremonies, all these different functions, it's come to a standstill. And it's not just magicians, it's singers, all sorts of different things. The entertainment industry has just come to a halt. So it was a time to think about how to be creative. And the way to do it is everyone is on Zoom or Skype or FaceTime, all these different platforms, and online is the way forward. So the type of magic myself and my peers do, we all have different types of magic. There's the visual magic, there's the card magic, there's the mentalism. So I literally sat down one night just thinking, right, what could work? What can translate over the internet without the need of, hey, pick a card, because we can't do this, obviously. So maybe it's more like, think of a card. Was this the card you were thinking of? We have to adapt it now. And I've been now, in the last couple of months, offering Zoom magic shows. And people have really picked up on it, and they can watch this and book this show from anywhere in the world. And it's great because, you can join in, have your families and friends and on different accounts. And it's almost like a stage show because I can see my audience. And then there I am performing and they're all enjoying it. They're all clapping away and being bamboozled. So it's kind of been positive in that respect, hasn't it? So it's worked nice.
Crazy thing that they can zoom into your, let's see his little fingers and see if he's doing something, with his fingers. There's always that danger. Because if you're on an iPad, they can go in, I can ever get any of the tricks that you do. I just do not know how you do it, seriously.
But yeah, I didn't think of that actually, whether the people could zoom in, pinch out, whatever it is. But I've had it through my laptop and the camera, etc., set up, and it's kind of nice. I feel like I can get away with more and do more things, which I know I couldn't do in a live situation because I have a controlled environment, which is quite cool. So since I've been doing it, I've come up with new little ideas, new concepts, and I've been sharing it with my magician friends as well, saying, oh, you can do this as well, by the way. And I'm like, oh, that's a great idea, so something I didn't even think of. And again, it just comes down to the whole creative process, what works and what doesn't work. And it's kind of weird because it kind of feels like I'm starting again. because there are certain things I'll try and I didn't get a certain reaction. I'm like, oh, okay, that reaction wasn't as expected. So I'll just drop that particular trick or routine out and replace it with something else. And it's a learning curve, so it's working. That's the main thing.
It's always an evolution, isn't it? Trying to find what works with audience, and it's a different kind of audience, isn't it? That are kind of even more scrutinization, you know?
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah.
It's great, and it doesn't let you get comfortable. You've always got to continue to innovate and offer in a different way. And you know, when he's done a couple of Zoom shows, he said, "Oh God, I'm nervous," just like he is about to perform for them in real life, and that's a good thing to have. You know, it still keeps you on your toes and shows that you're still hungry for it and you want to do your best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you done stuff for kids? You know, like have you been? Because obviously kids have suffered a little bit because you know they're you know, stuck indoors, and sometimes people are in a good situation. They've got a lot of facilities at home, and we've heard a lot about education where some kids are at disadvantage because they don't have access to the internet or they don't have as much technology that other kids would have. But have you, and kids who have their birthdays during that period, can't have their friends around, have you done any shows for kids to help boost their kind of you know, mental well-being?
The issue I have is, I wouldn't say an issue. Majority of my work is tailored towards adults, so it's not really for the children. But then I always have set routines which do work for children really nicely. I have a show coming up this weekend, and it's an 8-year-old birthday party out in the States, and they've got loads of children joining in. So, but they're all fans, so they are aware of my work, so they'll recognize the things I do on my Instagram, my TikTok. So it's about making it visual and entertaining rather than making it very formal and maybe difficult to follow. It's especially with mentalism, like, you know, there's a routine I do where I ask you to search something on the internet, think of this word, find a long word. So I think things like this would be too boring for children to watch, whereas with kids they want to see, like, I don't know, a silk hanky going to my hand and it turns into an egg, or chewing gum turning into chocolate, or something as visual and fun as that, you know, with things with colors. So that's what they love to see. Again, I can't do anything other than that, and that's just to perform online, because I'm not able to go and see anyone else outside my family because of the social distancing and all the laws that are in place. So online is the way. And also I'm offering shows on Instagram for free. Instagram,
yeah.
And anyone can join in from that, which is great. So again, anyone just with an iPhone or an iPad or whatever, it just has to log in and they get to watch a free show for about maybe 15-20 minutes or so.
The thing with Instagram is, I mean, this guy Joe Wicks, you both must have heard of Joe Wicks, the guy who's doing all the, I mean, he's just one of the trainers that are out there, and so certainly some of these tools are interactive. The Zoom one is a good example. Other video things are available, but with Zoom, you can see the reaction in someone's eyes. But with Facebook Live, you can actually activate that individual, and that person can have a direct conversation with you. And it's really difficult because all the other stuff is zooming at the same time, use the same phrase, and you can't read what they're saying because it's going so quickly. There's a fine art to being able to capture what someone's giving you back in feedback and what you're actually picking on that person, having a conversation with them. In the meantime, somebody else is putting a comment up. Really hard, you know?
I found this first time when we tried this with Instagram Live. You know, it's fine. I've got all the comments going, "Oh my God, wow, that's amazing. How did you do that?" and all that. But I can't feed off of that because it's just me and my voice and me doing the magic trick. So, hey guys, watch this, boom, and it changes to money, whatever it might be. And then they'll be like, wow, cool, amazing. And it's like, it's cool. But then I didn't realize you could add people into the video call. So what I've been doing is just randomly choosing people and asking them to join in, and they do. So when I do perform the magic for them, I get that reaction, so I can feed off of them and feel that energy. And not only am I feeling that energy, the people who are watching are also enjoying that moment of reaction. They can feed off of what he's feeling. They're like, oh, wow, you know, he's reacting or she's reacting in that way. It must be cool. So it's all psychological.
The good thing about it doing it on, rather than doing it on Instagram, if you do it on Facebook, it will actually record it and you can watch it back afterwards. And then you get even more reaction. So talking about reactions, so it's a difficult time for people, still is, even though people are, you know, the lockdown period is opening up a little bit. I mean, it's even worse for if you're in business. So Bhavan, I mean, tell us, first of all, remind us about some of the great work that your company does. You've got this really good, innovative pop up in Selfridges. You're going from strength to strength, like I said. But obviously, with Selfridges shut down, that's an immediate impact on you, not only in terms of the momentum that you had in your business before. Now you're going to have to start all over again a little bit, but also building the confidence with people coming back in. So it's confidence in business, but also confidence in yourself as well. You hope that you can, reclaim that territory, I hope.
I mean, when Selfridges said that they were going to close down, we were obviously worried. But what we'd been working on beforehand over the winter months of last year was our products. So what my aim was when we launched our henna bars in Selfridges, Harvey Nichols, Milan, Barney's New York, all of these amazing places, was to have the service available to everybody. But luckily, our business had kind of changed our angle, and we said not only now do we want to make the service available to everybody, but also the products. So just like you're able to go and buy a nail polish in a department store or a mascara, we wanted people to be able to buy a henna cone or a white henna cone or a neon henna cone, which is what we've come up with. So we've had all of the tests to make sure that our products are safe for the skin. They've undergone all of the beauty tests and exams to make sure that everybody can use them, because of all the horror stories that you hear at least once a year of people having a bad reaction. And luckily that was all in place just before COVID hit. So we kind of changed our angle, and we were thinking on our feet, and thinking, wouldn't it be great to do Instagram lives with influencers and, send them our packs and do a one-to-one tutorial, but in front of our audience, and teach them how to do henna. And literally within 15 to 20 minutes, they were able to do a Mehndi design that I would teach them online. And off of the back of that, we've taught salons in Cyprus, Spain. We've had inquiries from all the way in Brazil. So it's brilliant that not only is it great to teach in person, but it also resonates online. And then another thing was that I had done Mehndi on a bride just before lockdown was announced. And, her family couldn't come over from Texas. Her bridesmaids couldn't come, but she was still having the wedding. And we were talking all of this negative talk, but then when I actually sat down to do her Mehndi, I took a sigh of relief and I felt so much better. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to share that? So we kind of had this angle on mental health, how doing Mehndi can help with mental health, drawing, the colouring books, that kind of thing. So we had great coverage from, Vogue Arabia, the British Beauty Council, like I mentioned, the Evening Standard, about just how doing henna as a form of therapy, a form of meditation, but then also you're able to walk away at the end of lockdown with another skill. Products are easy to get hold of, and doing the designs on yourself. It's like everyone can paint their nails, but they will always go and get it done professionally. So it's nice to have the option, if you've got a henna cone lying around and you want to be able to do something on yourself, we're giving them that option. So
really, really interesting idea. Really interesting that what both of you have done. I was going to ask you, Magic, in a second, but what's really interesting is that you've taken this situation and you've innovated from it. So, like you were saying, Pavan, about you've got the colouring aspect of it. You're training up people. Effectively, you've got agents out there, inverted commas, people that can be brand ambassadors for you. You've done some work in, researching the product, making sure that it's, clinically okay in terms of, it passes all the regulations and stuff. But but for you, Magic, you've had to innovate, obviously, by using that tech. People being more available. It's a question for both of you. By people being at home and being more available, do you think they're more open to think about different things, or do you think they can think more creatively if they're sitting at home? What's your view on that?
I totally agree with this, and we both had this discussion many times since lockdown kicked in. I know there was a lot of panic where people are thinking, oh my God, what we're going to do for money, what we're going to do for food, etc., etc. What people, I feel like, have realized is what they need and what they don't need, what's important, what's not important. We found that we were working out way more than we did without lockdown. We were fairly good.
And we realised what we were filling our time with.
Yeah.
As opposed what was necessary and what was not necessary.
Totally. Where you're wasting your money as well, I guess, isn't it?
And I think that's what people have think. They want to pay more attention to their minds, their creativity. And that's something that we offer. People are always going to want to have that form of release and enjoyment and pleasure
Yeah.
I don't think, what we've tried to do is make it affordable, and try and reach everybody, try and make it so that we can reach a wider audience.
And that's the beauty of being online. I would say majority of the world is pretty much online now. So if anyone wanted to ever book us, they can book us now. Like what Bhavan is doing, she's sending out the product so that they can do it themselves and be taught by the master essentially. And it's, it would cost thousands of pounds to do something like that, to fly, Bhavan over to do something like this. But now they can do it at the comfort of their own home. And same for myself, to be able to provide a show in the comfort of your own home and anywhere in the world, and it's an affordable price. And
I think
just
people
so great.
are willing to push themselves now because they are at home. They're probably thinking, well, what else is there to do? So they're looking at things that they wouldn't usually look at doing, which is great. They are being far more open-minded.
You don't feel worried about the fact that basically what will happen is that we'll come out of lockdown and then people go back to their old habits. So the new, this is overused phrase called the new norm, right? So when you go back to the normal, whatever the normal was before, people rushing around. So these new services and new things that you've invented would have only lasted for that period. They don't necessarily have, a life associated with them. So coming out with a colouring book, great idea, but it would only last for as long as you had a bit of time to do it. So there's always that danger, isn't there, that people rather see you in person rather than actually book you online. So I guess what it is as we go forward, there will be some things that kind of fade away. What are the kind of things that you think would be, things that you would take? I mean, I'm saying that it's still time to go, right? There's an expression that's being used, and I mentioned it last week. This phrase is called gaslighting, which is like, don't worry about it. 3 months was just a blip on the horizon. It never really happened. It didn't really change your life. Above what you were saying about, the fact that people could, contemplate and, use it as a form of meditation. They'll go back to their own same rushed around life, that they don't necessarily value that period of time that they had.
That is definitely a fear. And we did think that, people will go back to the norm or the old version of themselves. But I think that there will be a proportion, and I hope a large proportion, of people who think, that we liked what we learned about ourselves in lockdown and we want to keep some bits of that. Like, I don't know whether it's cooking or meditating or working out, whatever prioritize. I'm sure people will hold on to that. And another thing is what we were working on that we've pushed hard during COVID is something we were working on before it was even something, before it was even a thing. So it's a direction that our company were going in anyway. So I think COVID just helped it happen a little bit faster.
I was going to say, I wouldn't be fair. I think it's worked. It's been beneficial because, yes, we've had we that's what we're used to, is having the experience of having people in front of us or performing or doing the henna for them, having that close encounters. But then we're all of a sudden in lockdown, and now we can't see anyone. We can't physically be in front of anyone. But like you said, we were prepared for that, and many businesses probably weren't.
And that happened by coincidence.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's just.
And when it's over, when this is all over, people are, like you said, they may go back to their old habits, or there might be the new norm. But I think we have the best of both now. Fine, if it's back to normal, cool. We carry on, do the live shows.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I don't want to spend that sort of money. Cool. We're ready for that too. So people kind of have that option now, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
isn't it?
Definitely. And I think it's good.
I was going to ask you about relationships, really, because I mean, that what you're talking about really is not only about new things that you're doing, it's also about the new relationships that you have. So in Bhavan's case, she's got lots of people that she's been in contact with who we hope will continue that connection and making time for each other. And then again with you, Magic, for all the stuff that you've done online, there might be more of a demand for that when you can't get to a certain location. So rather than fly there, you can do the kind of a modified show. Are you worried that those relationships will fade away? That's really where I was going actually on this.
Oh, okay. I'm not. I tell you why. And I think this is where we've invested into ourselves when it comes to social media. So we've managed to build a really strong brand on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok as well. TikTok is another thing that's really kicked off in a big way. So I feel like the demand, touchwood, will always be there because we're constantly updating our profiles, making sure there's something new on there, just kind of giving something to our fans essentially to watch and enjoy. So I feel like there will always be that demand, and I think this is the sort of method that Joe Wicks has used. He was offering those classes. I think it was every day, wasn't it? And it was for free. But he's become so popular during that lockdown period. When everyone does come out of it, they may not do it, but his name is so big that he could practically sell anything he wants after that, whether it's a kind of private session with him or
he's
group
built
sessions.
A trust. He's built their trust.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of having someone, people will still want to fly you over because there's nothing like having
the real thing. Yeah.
I don't think, although Zoom and online stuff is amazing, the human touch, the vision, you know, when something's happening in front of your face, I don't think you can beat that.
No.
So I think that will always be in demand, in my view.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think, you know, you've got more things to offer now. That's the important thing. Now, we were going to touch on that subject. We've got a few minutes to go. Can you tell us some stories about happiness in terms of, you know, is there something that you've done that made somebody happy? I mean, I think you were mentioning it before, weren't you, about there was maybe doing some henna work did kind of make someone feel good. And then on the magic side, there must have been something that you did that must have done an awe-inspiring moment for someone, you know? I'll leave it to both of you.
I'll let you start first.
Oh, I was going to tell you to start.
Gives him more time to think about it.
For us, it's that, you know, watching people do henna and they buy our products and then they'll take a picture of what they bought and then a picture of their design. And I know that they're feeling happy and I know that it's made them feel good. For me, that's the reward, that they're feeling good about it and, you know, making them happy that they can learn a new skill. So for me, when they're reiterating that, that's just the best thing. But you make people feel great, like just a small trick here and there or whatever, and it just can change someone's mood completely.
Yeah, because like I mentioned, I'm occasionally uploading videos on my social media. That's just part of what I like to do, and that's a form of entertainment. But then when I go on live or Instagram or Zoom, whatever it might be, people just get really excited, and it's so nice to see and hear from your fans and the nice things they have to say about you. I remember one night when I did my Instagram live, I had people like in Austria, then in India, and then Thailand. It was so many different places, and they're like, "Oh, we're your biggest fans, and we love what you do." I'm thinking, wow, you know, you're able to connect, and now all of a sudden, it's 2 a.m. there, and it must have been about 8 o'clock in UK time, and yet they've stayed up until that late just to watch me for about half an hour, and that means everything, you know, to put a smile on someone's face.
And your show, he did a show for BBC Three.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And he taught magic to some kids who didn't have a very great upbringing, and because of the magic that you taught them, one of them wants to pursue magic now. So those are the rewarding things, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing stuff. I know whenever you see stuff coming from, because you never really truly know your fan base or where they're based. You know, I think I did a show once, a radio show, and then somebody had downloaded a podcast and they were playing at the beach in Australia. And he sent me an email saying, "All right, I was listening to this in a beach shack." I was going, "Whoa, wow, okay." And then I did another show, and somebody was going out for a run. It was because I do a particular music show, and they were going out for a run. I said, "I really like the track. I liked it so much, I rewound it, and I actually did an extra mile." And it's just those little kind of stories that you get from how you've made that connection and how you made somebody feel. I think that those are things that you can't put a price on it, but it's the fact that you've actually touched someone's heart somehow. You know, you've made a difference to somebody in their kind of everyday action. So that's a great thing that you guys do.
Like you actually said, is well, the reward is for us. You look how great you felt when you were told that. You know, you feel so great. You feel rewarded, and same with yourself. You know, you can't put a price on things like that, and it's just a wonderful feeling. And that's why we do what we do. We love it for that reason. It fuels us to do more and more.
Well, I do wish you every success in the future. Our time is up. I want to say thanks so much for making time out. for against your busy schedules of being online, and it'd be even worse in a few weeks' time. You're not only online, but you have to physically go and meet people as well. So, Pavan, best of luck in the business as it's going forward. And Magic, so good to see you, and I wish you all the best for the future. And I would take this message of connectivity to the next phase. Yeah,
Definitely.
We'll see you soon. Bye.
All the best. Bye bye.